And welcome to yet another episode of Film Sandwich.
Take two.
Take two. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we have a killer video for you today. Today we are reviewing two cameras, and we're kind of just giving you our real world opinion about each camera. And Ron, what cameras are we reviewing today?
Well, it's somewhat like a review of each camera, but kind of a comparison. I mean, we have the newest camera here, the GoPro Hero 10. And we have this camera, came out a little while ago. It is the Insta360 Go 2. Now, both of these cameras are action cameras. Obviously, the Go 2 is a little different. You can take that guy out, super small. What we kind of did is we went through some of the features that they have, like hyperlapse, night lapse, slow-mo, stabilization, waterproofness, and a couple other things. So we, just did some tests, and we recorded some footage that we'd like to share with you on the big screen here. So let's go into the Go 2. What's cool about the Go 2 that the GoPro doesn't have is HDR video. So here's what that looks like here. Here's a little bit of me walking with a selfie stick. So I just did like a little thing. This is supposed to be HDR video. I mean, it looks pretty good. I mean, this tiny little camera, what do you think, Mark?
For the size of the camera, I think it really is pretty stellar. It's a wider angle of view on it. The stabilization is pretty nice too. You could definitely tell like a grain structure to it and a little bit of motion dynamics to it when it plays on the big screen here. But all in all, for that size of camera, I think it's outstanding.
Now, one of the things about the Go 2 is that in order for you to get like the stabilization and all of like the bells and whistles, it doesn't just come out of the camera like that. Here, let's take a look at what the original footage looked like. So this is the original shot here. I don't know why there's a green stripe there, but it's there right now. And you can see that it's got the circle from the lens, but the other shot did not. So when you put it in the Insta360 studio program, it crops it out. If there's stabilization that needs to happen, you can do that. You can actually change the stabilization. If you shoot in pro video mode, you can actually change your field of view. You can have it be like a 1:1 instead of 16:9. It's pretty crazy.
What's the price point of these two cameras?
The Go 2 is $300.
Okay.
And the GoPro is $499. There is a special deal. You can get it for $399 if you sign up for their like little cloud program, which you'll have to pay for. So in the end, you're still paying for it.
I just want to mention about the smaller camera there. It has a feature where you can actually wear it on you with a magnet, and that feature is really kind of cool. Much more so than I thought it would be, just from reviewing and doing production. Just having something that you can wear and capture the moment is really kind of an ideal way of like capturing something real simple, real quick and real fast. Because with the GoPro, as you well know, if you want to wear a GoPro, you're going to be wearing some kind of a rig, whether it's a headband or whether it's a chest rig, or you're going to put a wrist strap. There's some other apparatus that you're going to have to put on your body to put that camera on. So if you wanted to film, incognito and kind of like have it small, I think that this is really a great option for you, because you can go theme parks and put it right on, your shirt, and not a lot of people will even notice that it's on there. It just looks like a piece of jewelry, to be honest with you. That's right.
Well, let's go to the night lapse, because I'm having a technical difficulty with the Go 2 hyperlapse here. That one's still downloading, but anyways, I have this night lapse, and they both do like a night lapse feature, which does like long exposures. And what's cool about the GoPro is it like automatically puts it together and makes a file for you right out of the camera, as to where the Go 2, you do have to process it in the app first. But let's go ahead. This is going to be the Go 2 night lapse here. To me, this looks pretty clean.
Now hold on,
for a tiny
you.
camera.
You process this, right? You have to process all this footage?
On the Go 2, you'll have to download and process it through the app in order to get this output.
Now, did you color correct this or change all the
Nope, nothing.
exposure? So
Nope.
this is kind of out of the camera, just processed to make this.
Now, it also records like raw files. So if you wanted to take those raw files into, say, Photoshop and do a little thingy, do some, processing to it, you can do that.
Raw video or raw stills?
It's gonna be raw stills.
Raw stills.
Right, so you'll have raw stills. But I mean, coming right out of the camera, I mean, this looks pretty good.
So it looks like there's obviously doing like a long shutter effect on this to get the streaks of the light. I would say probably 1/8 of a second, 1/4 of a second, but I could be wrong. But they're definitely doing some kind of drag of the shutter from the old school photography me, I would say. And that's what's giving that its cool look. You can see some tone in the sky. I mean, there is some gray in the sky, obviously, because it is night. But overall, for that small camera, for a hyperlapse, I mean, considering where you can pull this off, it's great.
Called, on the Insta360 Go 2, it's actually called Star Lapse.
Star Lapse.
Hyperlapse is when the camera moves.
Oh, excuse me.
Right.
Star Lapse.
So anyways, that's Star Lapse. Now, you can also, there's an option to get it with Star Trails. See how it leaves like little trails that fade away? So it's just like another little feature in the app that you can do if you so desire. You can, of course, do it without it like the very first one. But it looks kind of cool, right?
Even longer second of exposure. Yeah. Back in the old days when you had film and do this old school, it would be called just a time lapse.
Yeah, I don't think like this particular what we're seeing here is a I mean, it's a long shutter, but there's some processing that's happening to make the little trails
a little magic happen in the background. Stay
longer.
Sure.
But that's what, you know, Insta360, like that's what they do. They do magic stuff with their cameras. I mean,
so coming up next is the hyperlapse, right?
Yep, let's look at the Go 2 hyperlapse first. Let's see here, hyperlapse. Now, here is the Go 2's hyperlapse feature. That's me getting started there. But, you know, it's basically a time lapse with movement. You know, the GoPro also does this. But it's pretty smooth. I mean, you see me, I hit these speed bumps and like, you don't really see like any bumps or anything, right?
No.
And, you know, I'll click a little further because it's kind of a long video here, but I'm just zooming through traffic. This is the Go 2. Now, the thing about the Go 2 is it tops out at 2K resolution. So you're not gonna get anything more than 2K. And then when you know, it's good if you want to downsize to 1080, it'll work great for that, you know? But the thing about the new GoPro, 5.3K.
Yeah, I do notice that the detail isn't as sharp as it could be. And there, you get some aliasing happening as well.
You know, I mean, they're, you know, kind of the same, but then they both have their things that they're good at and things that they're not good at. You know, GoPro obviously is bigger, it's heavier. You know, it's probably a bit more durable because it's GoPro, right?
Yeah, durable, but I gotta tell you that it's a liability having the screen on the back of a GoPro, because if it falls off and cracks, that's gonna be the first thing that goes beyond the other thing. So I think that's really important to understand.
There's actually two screens. There's a selfie screen on the front of this guy, so you can actually see what the camera sees there. But what I noticed is when we were doing our tests, and I was like trying to move around the GoPro, and I accidentally touched that back screen and changed the mode. So that's kind of like a downside if you're like if you're fumbling with it, you might accidentally change the mode that it's on.
Yeah, and that could be a real problem if you really were in the mix really quick, how to get something done.
And then let's see here. So let's go to the GoPro footage, stabilization. Oh, you know what? Back to the Go 2. I also did a little walk on a selfie stick. So this is just me. I have the Go 2 actually in the case, and there's a 1/4-20 screw on the bottom of it there. So you can screw in a selfie stick or a tripod plate or whatever and mount it to things.
1/4-20 is awesome. I mean, who doesn't want a 1/4-20 on any kind of camera? I don't even know. Like, I don't even know why the GoPro doesn't have does it have a 1/4-20 on the bottom?
GoPro does not have a 1/4-20 at all. All it has is the little GoPro little fingers there that you can put in GoPro mounts. All right, so let's look at the GoPro's stabilization. Well, no, that's the wrong one. All right, so here we go. Again, this is at the 5.3K. So it looks cleaner, it looks sharper, colors are nicer. I mean, all around the image is just better.
All around, just better.
Just
but
better.
I don't know if it's so much better.
All right, I'm gonna hit a bump here, ready? Hitting the speed bump. Now I didn't really slow down really for these speed bumps. I kind of just, it was,
Yeah,
you know, it was probably going like
tell,
15 miles an hour.
When you
or
see
so.
the tree leaves, nothing really happens to the tree leaves, unlike the other one where there was a little judder on the tree leaves.
Yeah, a lot of this like in-camera stabilization, especially in the past, that you'd see like in little areas of the image, there would be a little jitter in like the details. But on this, I mean, it's just butter, man.
It really is. GoPro is really, I think, top of the mark when it comes to stabilization right now. I think in the market as far as camera goes. I mean, I wish my FX9 could do this, just walking around handheld, you know. But right out of the gate, GoPro looks great, amazing stuff.
Now this is definitely a camera you want to put on an FPV drone to get like some like really badass footage.
For sure, like to see that.
Right. So wrapping this up, Mark, what do you think of these cameras, man?
Well, I think they both have a place. I think the Insta, what's it called?
Insta360 Go 2.
I think the Insta camera is ideal for traveling and just wanting to capture kind of the essence of the environment, kind of like the feel of it. You know, when you're not really planning on something, you want to just kind of put it on and see it. I think the GoPro, it's kind of pro level. And what I mean by that is if you're going to go to a GoPro, you have a shot in mind. You know, in other words, you're going to take it and you're going to place it somewhere. You're going to make something happen. You're going to mount it. So I think it's kind of designed for the camera guy that has the 2 or 3 cameras and they need to get that second angle. They're going to use that GoPro for that second angle. I think the Insta is more of a blogger kind of type. You want to just go on and have fun with it and it can still be used in a lot of different ways. The GoPro is going to be used, but I feel that it's just not what a lot of pros will gravitate to. But at the same aspect, when you really need that small camera to get away with a shot, that's the only solution you have. You got to take that and get away. And I think that's where the Insta really shines and when you're really trying to steal some shots.
Yeah, you know, what's cool about the Insta is, I mean, it's got the case, it's ready to go. You just put that right in your pocket. And then when you want to start filming, you just pull it out, you press a button and you're ready to go. You know, you can take it out of the case here, and that has little magnetic lanyards and other little mounting things that we didn't think to bring out here. And then you can put it right back in there, like, hey, you want to do a little vlog? Huh? I'm just walking around.
Prank shows, it's very easy to hide in a store, on a shelf, anywhere you think you're going to do something. You can instantly put it out and have an instant shot.
Yeah, so it's great for social media and vlogging and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't want to use it in too many pro things. I mean, unless it was the only way to get the shot. If it's
I feel you.
If it's the only way to get the shot, then yeah, I'll use it in a pro scenario. But if I could do it with the GoPro, I'll go with the GoPro instead for a pro level thing. So anyways, the Insta360 Go 2, it is a formidable camera. Definitely a long way from where cameras have come.
True.
And it's only getting better. I mean, if they come out with a 3, I imagine it's going to be even better. I mean, they had a version before this, and you couldn't attach it to your camera via Wi-Fi. The resolution was a lot lower. I wouldn't even use any of that footage. I mean, I did a couple like little bloggy posts a few years ago when we got it, and that's all I did with it. And then I just sat in a bag. Like this, I'll actually use for things.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
And then the GoPro, I mean, I have a GoPro 7 that I use for my underwater aquatic videos, and you know, that works great. But this, I mean, it's definitely leveled up, and you can do a lot of things with this little back touch screen. You don't even need to open up your phone, but you can open up your phone and control it that way too. And then this little new selfie screen is nice, just so you know if you're like framed up, if you're trying to be in the shot and you can't be behind the camera, you can frame up your shot nicely with that screen.
So image quality stabilization, check to the GoPro, the big check mark to the GoPro, little graphic. For sociability and just blogging and having fun. And also I think is the Insta 2. But I think the way the Insta 2 shines over the GoPro is stealing shots.
Yeah, you can definitely like steal some shots. Like people won't even know like what it is. Like a lot of times they're like, hey, what is that? A GoPro, you can pretty much identify that right away.
All right, well that's it. You want to tell people to like and subscribe?
Yeah, if you guys like what you're seeing here, let's start off with this. A, we are not sponsored. None of these camera manufacturers have sponsored us. These is just our own opinions out of our little tests and use that we've done. We're not opposed to being sponsored. If anybody wants to sponsor us, send us some gear, send us some cameras. We will run it through our very highly scientific tests and let you know what we think. But until then, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next video.